December 17, 1944. Uru 300 hours. A frozen ditch outside Bastogne, Belgium. Sergeant Jack Harlan lies flat in 6 inches of snow, his breath fogging the air. 14 German soldiers close in from all sides. Machine gunners, riflemen, even a couple with flamethrowers. They're less than 20 yards out, boots crunching through the crust. Harlan's squad is gone, wiped out in the first barrage. His rifles jammed, no radio, no backup. The Ardennes forest is a black wall around him, and the only way out is a minefield his own side laid. In the next 60 seconds, those 14 men will pin him down and end it, or something else happens. Flashback 3 months. Jack Harlan wasn't born for this. He grew up on a dirt farm in Iowa, the kind where corn stretched to the horizon and winters bit hard. 24 years old when the war pulled him in. Draft notice came in 42. He kissed his wife Mary goodbye at the bus stop in Des Moines, told her he'd be back by harvest. Simple guy. Fixed tractors, hunted deer with his dad. Never fired at a man until basic training. They shipped him to England first, then Normandy. D-Day plus 2 weeks, he hit Omaha Beach with the 101st Airborne. Waves of water, bodies floating like driftwood. He grabbed a fallen paratrooper's M1 Garand and ran inland. That day, he killed his first German, a kid no older than 18, popping up from a hedgerow with a Luger. Harlan didn't hesitate, squeezed the trigger twice. Center mass. The kid dropped. Harlan kept moving. No time to think. By August, he was a sergeant, led a platoon through the bocage country, thick hedges, German bunkers everywhere. One night near St. Lo, they got ambushed. Mortars rained down. His best friend Tommy from Brooklyn took shrapnel to the leg, screaming. Harlan dragged him 200 yards to a ditch under fire. Bullets snapped overhead. He tied a tourniquet with his belt. He applied morphine from his kit. Tommy lived but lost the leg. Harlan got a Bronze Star for that. Didn't feel like a hero. Just did what needed doing. France fell behind them. They pushed into Belgium. The Bulge hit like a storm. December 16th, Hitler's last big push. Germans broke through the lines, tanks rolling over snow-covered roads. Harlan's company got cut off near Bastogne. Airdrops failed in the fog. Supplies low, frostbite claiming toes. Harlan's men held a ridge for 2 days straight. He rotated shifts, kept them fed on K rations. When a patrol didn't come back, he went out alone at dawn. Found them dead, throats slit by SS scouts, buried them shallow, marked the spot with dog tags on a stick. That built him, not unbreakable, but steady. He'd stared down panzers from 50 yards, called artillery on his own position to break a siege. Once, in the Hurtgen forest, he took a grazing bullet to the shoulder, kept fighting, patched it with sulfur powder and tape. Decisions like that, split-second calls, kept him alive. He knew fear, the shake in your hands before a charge, the way your gut twists when you hear boots in the dark. But he pushed through, always did. Now back to that ditch. The Germans are closer. Harlan can smell their cigarettes, hear the low mutter of orders in the cold. He's got 1 grenade left, a pineapple in his coat. His Thompson submachine gun, picked up from a dead Marine in Normandy, is empty but the bayonet's sharp. Heart pounds steady, no panic, just calculation. The leader, an officer with a scoped Car 98, signals left flank. They fan out, probing the snow with bayonets. Harlan's pinned. The ditch ends in a frozen creek 20 feet away. Barbed wire tangles the bank. Behind him, the minefield waits. American teller mines, set to blow legs off at pressure. He shifts an inch. Snow crunches soft. A boot stops. 1 German freezes, whispers sharp. They know something's there. Harlan's mind races, 14 against 1. Odds like that don't compute, but he's faced worse math. At Carentan, his platoon held a bridge with 8 guys against a company. They bought time for reinforcements. 3 survived. Harlan was 1. The officer raises a hand. Flashlights cut the dark. 2 beams sweep the ditch. Harlan presses flat, mud caking his helmet. Water seeps into his boots. Cold numbs his fingers. He grips the grenade pin between thumb and forefinger, Pull it now, and he takes out 3, maybe 4. The rest swarm, wait, and they close the noose. Flankers move in. One steps on a branch. Snap. Harlan holds breath. The officer barks, "Vorsicht!" Careful. They advance slow, rifles up. Harlan sees faces now, stubbled, eyes hollow from the cold. One carries a MG-42, belt draped over shoulder. Another the flamethrower man, hose coiled like a snake. Harlan's thought clicks. Strike first. No choice. He exhales slow. Counts heartbeats. The leader's boot hits the ditch lip. 10 yards. Harlan yanks the pin, lobs the grenade underhand, arc perfect into the cluster. It bounces once. Time slows. Explosion rips the night. Shrapnel shreds snow and flesh. Screams cut air. 2 down, legs gone. The officer staggers, arm hit. Chaos blooms. The MG-42 gunner spins, firing blind. Bullets chew the ditch wall inches from Harlan's head. He rolls, grabs the Thompson. Bayonet out. The flamethrower ignites. Orange whoosh lights the trees. Fuel sprays wild, igniting a German's coat. He thrashes, burning. Harlan surges up. No yell. Just motion. He charges the gap, bayonet thrusting, hits the nearest, rifleman gut stab, twist free, another lunges. Harlan sidesteps, cracks the buttstock into jaw. Bone crunches. The officer fires, round clips Harlan's sleeve. He dives, comes up firing the Thompson's last rounds from the mag. Point blank, 2 more drop. The survivors rally, 8 left maybe. They pour lead. Tracers streak red. Harlan's back hits the creek bank. Barbed wire snags his pack. No escape, but he struck first. The forest echoes with shouts. Reinforcements, or just the dead? In war, that's the edge. One moment decides. Harlan bleeds from a graze on his arm, ignores it, grips the knife. They come for him now. And he waits. The smoke hangs thick, choking the air like a fog bank rolling off the creek. Harlan presses against the frozen bank, barbed wire digging into his back like teeth. His arm throbs where the bullet grazed it. Hot blood seeps through the wool of his sleeve, mixing with mud. He doesn't look, eyes locked on the ditch ahead. 7 Germans left now, shadows scrambling in the red glow of dying embers. The flamethrower man writhes on the ground. His screams turning to gurgles as flames eat his coat. The others shout in bursts, frantic German, clipped and urgent. "Er da! Feuer!" The MG-42 gunner drops to a knee, 20 feet out. He swings the barrel left, then right. The ditch is a kill zone, walls high enough to shield Harlan, but not for long. The gun coughs, burt, burt, like tearing cloth. Bullets rip into the snow beside him, sending icy chunks flying. One pings off his helmet, ringing his ears. Harlan ducks lower, water soaking his legs to the knee. Cold bites deep, but adrenaline pushes it back. He counts them. Gunner, officer clutching his wounded arm, 3 riflemen fanning wide, 2 more hanging back with grenades in hand. No time for doubt. Harlan's mind works clean, like sighting a deer in the timber back home. The creek behind him rushes low, ice cracking under pressure. If he slips in, it's over, hypothermia in minutes. The minefield looms beyond, invisible but deadly. He scans for an out. The left flank, 2 riflemen probing too slow, tripped by the blast debris. That's the weak point. Harlan shifts his grip on the Thompson, empty now, but the bayonet gleams dull in the flashlight beams. He exhales once, steady. The officer barks again, voice cracking from pain. Umzingeln, schnell! They move. The gunner lays down, suppressing fire. Bursts chew the bank above Harlan's head. Snow avalanches down, burying his legs. He kicks free, surges up on one knee. The nearest rifleman spots him, eyes wide under the helmet, raises his Mauser. Harlan lunges first, 5 yards, 4. The man fires wild, bullet whistles past Harlan's ear, close enough to burn. Harlan drives the bayonet low into the thigh. The German buckles, rifle clattering. Harlan twists the blade free, shoves him aside like dead weight. Chaos feeds on itself. The officer pivots, fires from the hip. His Car 98 cracks. Round slams into Harlan's pack, shredding canvas. Pain flares in his shoulder, but it's just a tear. Harlan rolls right, into the open ditch. Bullets chase him, stitching the ground. He grabs the fallen Mauser. Cold steel, unfamiliar weight. No time to check the bolt. The gunner swings the MG-42 toward him. Harlan aims from the dirt, squeezes. The Mauser bucks, misses wide. He adjusts, fires again, hits the gunner's shoulder. The man jerks back, weapon dipping. But he recovers fast, hose of bullets spraying dirt into Harlan's face. Harlan dives behind a blasted stump, splintered oak from the explosion. Bark explodes around him. His ears ring, world narrowing to the thud of his pulse. 3 down total now, but the rest close in. Footsteps crunch heavy, boots on snow. One grenade man pulls the pin, lobs it high. Harlan sees the arc, black iron tumbling end over end. He flattens, boom. Earth heaves, shrapnel whistles. A piece slices his cheek. Warm blood trickles into his mouth, tasting copper. The blast kicks up a wall of white, blinding the Germans for seconds. He uses it, up and moving, low crawl through the drift. The officer's flashlight sweeps wild, catching glimpses. Harlan reaches the second rifleman, young, face pale as the snow. The kid swings his rifle butt. Harlan blocks with the Mauser, wood cracking. They grapple close, breath hot, grunts mixing with the wind. Harlan knees him in the gut, drives the bayonet up under the ribs. The kid gasps, eyes locking on Harlan's for a beat, then slumps. Harlan shoves him off, grabs the fresh ammo pouch. 8 rounds left in the Mauser. Better than nothing. The gunner reloads, cursing low. Belt jams in the cold. Fingers fumbling. That's the break. Harlan pops up, sight steady. 50 feet. Wind howls through the trees, carrying the distant rumble of artillery. American guns too far to help. He fires deliberate. Crack, crack. First shot clips the gunner's helmet, spins him. Second takes the chest. He topples backward, MG-42 silent at last. 5 left. The officer rallies them, voice hoarse. "Zusammen, erstirbt!" They charge the ditch in a ragged line, rifles blazing. Bullets snap like whips. One grazes Harlan's boot. Another shreds his sleeve. He backpedals toward the creek, firing as he goes. Hits one in the leg. Man screams, drops clutching knee. Another round. Misses, buries in snow. The barbed wire snags his heel. He stumbles, hits the icy edge. Water splashes cold up his thighs. Panic edges in, not full, just a whisper. Harlan's seen men break here in the crush, but he clamps it down, remembers Tommy's tourniquet, the pull tight under fire, remembers the SS scouts, throats open in the snow. This is the same. Decisions stack like cordwood. He empties the Mauser, last 3 shots. One German jerks, falls face first. 4 now. They close the gap. The officer leads, pistol out, blood dripping from his arm. Flashlight pins Harlan against the bank. No shadows left. The 2 grenadiers flank, pins ready. Flamethrower man's gone quiet, burned out. Harlan drops the empty rifle, draws his .45 Colt, 6 rounds. Heart steady, but the cold seeps deeper. Fingers numb on the grip. He fires first, double tap at the officer. Hits the chest. The man staggers, flashlight dropping, beams spinning wild across the snow. The grenadiers hesitate. One throws. Harlan sidesteps. Grenade skips past, explodes in the creek. Water erupts in steam and ice shards. The blast knocks him sideways, ears popping. He comes up firing. Hits the thrower center mass. The last man rushes, bayonet fixed, face twisted in rage. Harlan meets him head on. Steel clashes, sparks in the dark. The German's stronger presses hard. Harlan twists, drives elbow into throat. The man gags, loosens. Harlan stabs low, finishes it. Silence drops heavy. Just the creek, gurgle and wind in the pines. Bodies sprawl across the ditch. 12 down, 2 may be playing dead. Harlan stands, chest heaving. Blood loss makes him lightheaded. Vision blurring at edges. He scans slow, pistol up. The officer stirs, moans low. Harlan walks over, ends it with 1 shot. Clean. Dawn's grey light creeps through the trees. Harlan slumps against the bank, wraps his arm with a strip from his shirt. No victory feel, just survival. The minefield waits if he moves wrong. Radio silence broken, or alone still. He listens. Distant engines. Tanks. His or theirs. In the bulge, lines shift like smoke. He reloads the Colt, 1 round left. Waits again. The war doesn't pause. The first light of dawn filters through the pines like a dirty rag, turning the snow from black to grey. Harlan sits against the creek bank, knees pulled up, Colt balanced on one. His arms bandaged tight, blood soaks the cloth already, but the bleeding slows. He sips from his canteen, water tasting of rust and cold. Bodies litter the ditch ahead, twisted shapes in the half-light, steam rising from wounds where the freeze meets warm blood. 12 Germans down for sure. The other 2, he doesn't check. No energy for it. The air hangs heavy with cordite and charred meat from the flamethrower man. Wind picks up, whistling through the barbed wire like distant shells. Harlan's mind ticks over the math. Ammo gone, except that last round. Grenades 0. His squad's dog tag still in his pocket. 5 men, all lost in the barrage 2 hours back. Bastogne holds 5 miles east, but the roads crawl with panzers. He needs to move. Toward the minefield or back through the forest. Both scream death. He stands slow, legs numb from the wet. Tests his weight. The graze on his arm pulls, but nothing broken. Good enough. A low rumble shakes the ground. Engines, heavy tracks grinding snow. Harlan freezes, pistol up. Comes from the north, where the Germans advanced. His or theirs? He crouches low, scans the tree line. Branches sway, then shapes emerge. 2 half-tracks, canvas flapping, mounted MGs swiveling. German markings, black crosses on grey. Scouts, maybe reinforcements for the patrol he just carved up. They roll to a stop at the ditch's edge, 50 yards out. Troops dismount. 8, 9 men, rifles slung, flashlights probing the mess. One shouts, voice carrying clear, "Was zum Teufel?" What the hell? They spot the bodies, spread out cautious. Harlan's pulse evens. No time to run. The minefield's his only play, 30 yards behind, marked by faint stakes in the snow. He knows the pattern. Telemines every 10 feet, pressure fuses. Step wrong and legs gone. But he's crossed worse under fire. He backs away silent, boot by boot, eyes on the half-tracks. The Germans fan into the ditch, kicking at the dead. One finds the officer's body, kneels. Mutters prayers or curses, Harlan can't tell. The rumble of the engines idles low, exhaust pluming white. If they spot him, it's over. No cover left. He reaches the wire, cuts a gap with his bayonet. Slow work, metal scraping soft. Snags his coat, but he pushes through. Into the field now, snow deeper here untouched. Each step a gamble. He plants his right foot light, shifts weight. Nothing. Left follows. Heart hammers, but breath stays even. 10 yards in 20. Voices rise behind, alert now. A flashlight beam sweeps the field, catches the wire. Dort! Americana! There! American! Shots crack out, wild at first, then steady. Bullets plough the snow around him, throwing up plumes. One whistles close, tugs at his helmet strap. Harlan drops prone, crawls forward. Mines be damned. The field's a white void, stakes like ghosts. He recalls the briefing. Clear lanes every 50 yards, but fogged memory. A half-track gun opens up. MG chatter rakes the edge. Tracers arc red, lighting the dawn. He rolls left, instinct. Boom. Earth jumps behind him. Mine triggered, probably by a stray round. Shrapnel peppers the air, pings off stakes. Germans yell, pulling back. Harlan uses the noise. Up on hands and knees, crawls blind. Fingers numb, snow packing into gloves. Another burst. Bullets stitch the ground 10 feet left. He veers right, hits a stake, counts paces in his head. 5, 6. The rumble shifts. Half-tracks advancing slow, tracks chewing the ditch. Pain flares in his leg. Cold or shrapnel? He ignores it. 25 yards from the far edge. Trees loom black ahead, Ardennes swallowing the light. A German shouts orders, "Feuer! Feuer! Fire!" The MG swings his way. Harlan dives flat as lead hammers the snow. 1 round clips a mine, double blast, chain reaction. 2, 3 explosions ripple out, dirt and ice flying, screams cut through, Germans caught in the edge. The half-tracks halt, men bailing out. Chaos buys seconds. Harlan surges up, runs hunched, legs burn, boots sinking deep. Bullets snap past, close, too close. One burns his calf, hot tear through cloth. He stumbles but catches himself. 28 yards, 29. The tree line rushes up. He dives into underbrush, branches whipping his face. Rolls behind a fallen log, wet rot and pine needles. Breath ragged now but controlled. He peeks back. The field's alive with fire, Germans shooting at shadows, mines popping like firecrackers. One half-track burns, hit by its own blast. Black smoke coils up. Harlan strips his scarf, binds the calf wound tight, blood dark on the snow. 2 shots fired at him total, 1 graze, 1 hit. He's leaking but mobile. The Germans regroup, voices fading as they probe the wire. No pursuit yet, mines hold them. He orients. South by the rising sun, faint through clouds. Bastogne that way if he skirts the roads. 2 miles, maybe 3. Frostbite waits if he slows. He moves out, low through the trees. Branches snag, snow drifts knee-high. The wound pulls with each step, but he pushes. Remembers Normandy, running inland, blood in his eyes from a shell splinter. Kept going. This is no different. Distant artillery thumps, American 105s pounding the lines. His lines. Hope flickers, small, but the bulge chews hope fast. An hour passes, sun climbs weak, burning off fog in patches. Harlan hits a ravine, steep drop, iced over. He slides down careful, grabs roots to break. At the bottom, a frozen stream. He crosses, ice cracking under weight. No time to test. On the other side, voices ahead. English, no, German patrol. 3 men, smoking by a foxhole. Harlan drops, circles wide. Bayonet out again. Close in silent. First one never hears. Throat cut quick, body eased down. Second turns. Harlan's hand clamps mouth, knife in ribs. The third spins, grabs his rifle. Harlan tackles low, drives him into snow. Struggles short, fists and grunts. Harlan pins, stabs clean. Drags them into brush, takes a canteen, cigarettes, ammo for the Colt, 2 clips. He keeps south. Leg stiffens, but adrenaline fades to ache. By noon the trees thin. Open ground ahead, snowfields rolling to a ridge. Bastogne's church steeple pricks the sky, mile out. But tanks prowl the plain, German Mark IVs, turrets scanning, infantry trails, 20 strong. Harlan halts, no crossing that. He backtracks, finds a shell crater, half buried, rimmed with ice. Hunkers in, covers with branches, waits, listens to the war move past. Engines growl, boots march. A scout passes 50 yards off, doesn't look his way. Hunger gnaws, K rations gone yesterday. He chews snow, waits for dark. The wound festers, red lines creeping up his calf. Infection sets in fast in the cold. But he's crossed France, bleeding worse. Decisions pile, rest here or push now. He chooses now, stands, limps toward the ridge's flank. Bullets find him again. Sniper from the tanks. No, just wind in ears. Paranoia creeps, but he shakes it. Dusk falls early, grey swallowing the fields. Harlan crests the ridge. Below, American lines, foxholes, sandbags, GIs stamping feet. A flare pops up, white light bathing everything. He raises hands slow, calls out hoarse, "Friendly!" 101st. Voices answer, rough, wary. "Identify!" He does. They pull him in, medics swarming. Tourniquet on the leg, sulfur in the arm. Questions come fast. What happened? How many? Harlan counts them off. 14 in the ditch, 9 in the field, 3 in the ravine. 26 total. Eyes widen. Christ. Word spreads quick. By morning, brass arrives. Colonel with a map. Harlan recounts flat, no embellish. The ditch fight, the minefield run, the scouts. Colonel nods, pins a silver star on his torn jacket right there. "You held the line alone, son. Bought us a day." Harlan shrugs, doesn't feel like holding, just not dying. Medevac chopper waits, first clear skies in days. They load him, morphine dulling the edges. Bastogne holds. The bulge breaks by Christmas, but in that ditch it was seconds that stacked. One man, no escape. Struck first. War's like that. Courage isn't grand. It's the pull of a pin when the noose tightens. Harlan closes eyes as the chopper lifts. Mary's face waits stateside. Harvest comes late, but it comes. The chopper blades thump steady over the snow-choked treetops, lifting Harlan away from the ridge. He leans against the canvas wall, morphine haze softening the edges of pain. The arm-wound pulses under the bandage, leg wrapped tight with field dressings. Medics hover close. One checks his pulse, another shines a light in his eyes. "Stay with us, Sergeant," the older one says, voice cutting through the engine roar. Harlan nods once, gaze fixed on the shrinking lines below. Bastogne's spires fade into white, artillery flashes winking like fireflies in the distance. The bulge grinds on, but for him, it's paused. They touch down at a field aid station 20 miles back, tents pitched in a clearing, jeeps churning mud around generators humming low. Orderlies haul him out on a stretcher, boots dragging snow into the canvas flap. Inside, the air reeks of iodine and ether, cots lined with bandaged men moaning soft. A doctor, Captain Ellis, name tag crooked, bends over him, scissors snipping at the wrappings. "Christ, what did you do, wrestle a tiger?" He probes the calf wound, pus yellow under the red. Infection set deep, but no bone hit. Harlan recounts it flat. The ditch, the 14, the minefield run. Ellis listens, jaw tight. 26 total? Alone? Harlan shrugs. Words feel heavy now, like lifting the Thompson after a long march. They wheel him to surgery under canvas lights that buzz harsh. Ether mask clamps down, world tilts. He drifts, flashes hitting, the grenade arc, the officer's eyes in the flashlight beam. The mine blast, shaking dirt loose, wakes hours later in a cot, sheets crisp, IV dripping into his vein, pains a dull roar, meds holding it back. A nurse, red-haired from Ohio, adjusts the drip. "You're the one from the 101st. Words out." She smiles faint, but her eyes carry the weight. Harlan's been here before, Hurtgen, shoulder patched in a barn, but this feels different, deeper cut. By evening, visitors trickle in. First, his company's CO, Major Klein, pipe clenched in teeth, sits on the stool, map folded underarm. "You bought us time, Harlan. That patrol was probing for a breakthrough. SS unit by the looks. We held the flank because of you." He pulls a citation from his pocket, typed quick on onion skin. "Silver Star, pending confirmation." Harlan takes it, folds it away. No questions. Klein lingers, talks tactics, how the ditch held the line, mines did the rest. "Brass wants details. Debrief tomorrow." Harlan nods. He's given statements before. Normandy, after Carrington. Facts stacked like ammo crates. No heroes in them, just moves. Night falls heavy, generators coughing outside. Harlan lies awake, ceiling canvas rippling in wind. The ward quiets. Snores mixing with coughs. A kid in the next cot, leg gone below the knee, whispers across the dark. "Heard you took a platoon solo. How?" Harlan turns slow. "One at a time." The kid chuckles weak, then winces. Harlan remembers Tommy that way. Leg off in France, eyes hollow but alive. War carves pieces, leaves the rest to mend. He closes eyes, but sleep dodges. Mary's letter waits in his pack, creased from the ditch, ink smudged. "Come home whole," she'd written. Harvest promise hangs thin now. Dawn brings the interrogators, 2 intel officers, clipboards out, voices clipped like Morse. They sit at the cot's edge, questions firing, positions, weapons, the officer's insignia. Harlan lays it out second by second, the pin pull, the bayonet thrusts. The minefield crawl. They nod, scribble fast. "Any prisoners?" one asks. Harlan shakes head. No room for that. They exchange looks but don't push. The story spreads already. GIs in the mess tent calling him Ditch Harlan. A reporter sneaks in later. notebook hidden under coat. "For the stars and stripes," he says. Harlan waves him off. "Write what fits." But the man stays, pens the bare bones. One man, 14 to start, 26 by end. Hero stuff, but Harlan hears the gap. No mention of the shakes after or the faces that stick. Days blur in the station. They move him to a hospital in Luxembourg City. Stone building, real beds, hot chow. The leg heals slow, infection draining twice. Arm stitches out clean. Physical therapy starts. Walking the hall on crutches. Therapist barking cadence. Harlan grits through, sweat beading cold. He's walked worse, Omaha sand, blood slick. Brass visits again, division commander this time, stars on shoulders. Pins the silver star proper, ribbon bright against Harlan's fatigues. Cameras flash, men clap from cots. "For gallantry beyond call," the general reads. Harlan stands straight, salutes, feels the weight, but not the lift. Recognition's paper keeps you fed, but doesn't fix the empty spots. Word from the front filters in. Bastogne holds, Patton's relief punches through. The bulge crumbles by New Year's, Germans reeling back. Harlan's squad, what was left, gets mentioned in dispatches. He writes Mary from a borrowed desk, pencil steady. "Delayed but coming. Tell the farmhands to plough deep." No details of the ditch. Some things stay buried, like those shallow graves near the ridge. A letter comes back weeks later. Her script, neat, proud, whole enough. He folds it close, tucks in his breast pocket. By February he's cleared for light duty, assigned to quartermaster, counting crates, no front line. The war winds down in Europe, but Harlan's mind loops the Ardennes. The crunch of boots, the grenade bounce, nightmares hit, waking in sweat, reaching for the Thompson. Talks to no one, just works, waits for the ship home. The Silver Star sits in a drawer, dust gathering. Courage wasn't the charge. It was the weight, the strike when odds said fold. War reveals that men break or bend, but the bend holds longest. One evening, in the hospital garden, first green shoots pushing snow, Harlan sits on a bench, pipe from Klein in hand. Smoke curls slow. A new batch of wounded rolls in, stretchers groaning. He watches, nods to a passing GI. The kid salutes awkward. Harlan waves it off. No titles needed. The fight's over for him, but the echo lingers. Stateside calls, cornfields, Mary's hands. Harvest waits, scarred but standing. In war, that's the win. One foot after the other, no matter the blood. The ship cuts through the Atlantic, swells like a dull knife, grey hull pitching under Harlan's feet on the deck. It's May 1945, VE Day, echoes fading behind. He leans on the rail, wind whipping his coat, salt spray stinging the scar on his cheek. The legs healed crooked, a limp he'll carry to the grave. But the arm moves free now, no twinge when he grips the pipe. Below, GIs cluster in groups, laughing loud over cigarettes, stories of the Rhine and the Ruhr spilling out. Harlan stays apart, eyes on the horizon where America blurs into view. 3 years gone. Feels like 30. They dock in New York Harbor, horns blasting. Crowds waving from the piers like a human tide. Confetti rains down, mixing with rain from low clouds. Harlan steps off the gangplank, duffel slung over one shoulder, Silver Star pinned inside his civvies. No uniform now, just khakis from the quartermaster, stiff and new. A Red Cross girl hands him a coffee, black and hot. "Welcome home, soldier." He nods, sips slow. The city hums, taxis honking, voices shouting welcomes, but it rings hollow, like echoes in the Ardennes after the blasts. The train ride west drags, steel wheels clacking over rails, windows fogged with breath from packed cars. Harlan sits by the glass, watching fields roll by, green shoots pushing through black soil. Iowa calls, flat and endless. He pulls Mary's letter from his pocket, reads it again. Trains waiting in Des Moines, whole world's here. No questions about the limp, the nights he wakes reaching for nothing. Some things letters can't carry. Des Moines station buzzes when he arrives, dusk settling, lamps flickering on. Mary stands at the platform edge, coat pulled tight against the chill, hair pinned back simple. She spots him first, waves once. Harlan walks steady, limp hidden in the crowd. They meet quiet, no rush, no tears on the surface. Her arms wrap around his neck, warm and real. Jack. That's all. He holds her close, smells the soap and earth from the farm. The war's weight lifts a fraction, just enough to breathe. The bus bumps them home, 40 miles of gravel roads, corn stubble poking through spring mud. Harlan stares out, fingers laced with hers. "Fields look good," he says. She nods. "Ploughed deep like you wrote." No more words needed. The farmhouse looms at road's end, white-clappered, porch light glowing. His dad waits on the steps, pipe in hand like Klein's old one. Older now, lines deeper, but eyes steady. They shake firm, no speeches. "Supper's on," Dad says. Harlan steps inside, boots echoing on wood floors. Smells of stew and bread hit like home soil. Nights come slow at first. Harlan lies in the brass bed, Mary's breath even beside him. The ditch creeps back, boots crunching, grenade pin cold in his fingers. He sits up sharp, sweat cold on his back. She stirs, hand on his arm. "Here," she whispers. No questions. Dawn breaks early, pulling him to the fields. He hitches the mule to the plough. Reins worn from his hands before the draft. Soil turns rich under the blade, black and heavy. The limp pulls on hills, but he pushes through, sun warming his neck. Decisions here are simple. Row straight, seed even, no noose tightening. Word spreads in town. Vets from the Legion Hall nodding when he passes the feed store. The reporter's piece hit the local paper. Iowa sergeant takes down 26 in bulge stand. Folks buy him coffee at the diner, slap his back gentle. "Heard about the ditch, Jack? Hell of a thing." He shrugs, stirs sugar slow. "Just the job. No details spilled. The Silver Star comes in a frame one day, mailed from the Pentagon. He hangs it in the barn, next to the tractor tools. Dust gathers quick. Summer builds heat, corn shooting tall. Harlan works dawn to dark, hands calloused again from hoe and baler. Mary tends the garden, jars lining the pantry shelves. Evenings, they sit on the porch swing, radio crackling big band tunes. His dad joins sometimes, stories of the Great War slipping out, trenches in France, gas masks fogged. "Same mud, different flags," he says. Harlan listens, nods. The limp fades to a hitch. Legs strong from the walk. Nightmares ease, replaced by the creak of floorboards, and Mary's turn in sleep. Fall harvest hits like a storm, combines rumbling, air thick with chaff. Harlan drives the old Ford, grain spilling golden into wagons. Neighbors pitch in, trucks lining the drive. By the firelight one night after the last load, they raise glasses, whiskey from a hidden flask. To Holding, someone toasts. Harlan clinks quiet, thinks of Bastonia's ridges, the minefield stakes. Courage wasn't the charge or the pin pull, it was the steady after, the crawl through snow, the wait in the crater. War strips you bare, shows what bends without breaking. Years stack like cordwood. Harlan farms through droughts and booms. Kids come, 2 boys sturdy like him. He teaches them the plough, the rifle for deer, but skips the war tales. "Enough heroes in books," he says. Mary ages graceful, grey threading her hair. The ditch fades to a scar, arm and leg matching sets. He votes in elections, fixes the church roof after storms. Simple man, steady hand. One winter evening, 1960s now, snow dusting the fields like that night in Belgium. Harlan sits by the stove, pipe smoke curling. The boys ask about the ribbon in the barn. He pauses, eyes on the flame. "Fought when cornered, struck first. That's it. No more." They nod, young eyes wide. War's shadow lingers, but the light holds longer. In the end, that's the truth of it. One man in the dark, no escape. But he moved. War tests the core, courage in the quiet choices, the steps after the blast. Harlan lives it still, Ploughing straight, harvest comes year after year, blood or not, the line holds.